Tiananmen Square, a large public plaza in Beijing, capital of the People's Republic of China, literally meaning Gate of Heavenly Peace, has been the site of student movements since the 1919 May 4th movement. The Tiananmen Square protests of 1989 were of the utmost importance in both their domestic and international contexts. The protests began on April 15th when Beijing students gathered in the square mourning the death of Hu Yaobang, former Secretary General of the Chinese Communist Party. That he was ousted from office in January 1987 because of his sympathetic stance towards the pro-democracy student movement of 1986 helped transform mourning activities into a series of nationwide student demonstrations. Students renewed their calls for immediate democratization and demanded direct dialogues with senior leaders. The movement employed mass sit-ins, boycotts of classes, public forums, bicycle demonstrations, and hunger strikes. June 3, 1989, at about 10:30 p.m. near the Mushidi apartment buildings, home to high-level party officials and their families, the citizens become aggressive as the army tries to break through the barricades. They yell at the soldiers and some throw rocks. Someone sets a bus on fire. The soldiers start firing on the unarmed civilians.
第一声枪响出乎了所有人的意料，伤员被送去了就近的医院，但当时医院并没有良好的设备救治枪伤。
1989, you could hear the people sing, and it was the song of
大概4点左右，经过投票决定，所有剩余的学生都离开了天安门广场。
of the people gathered there. Oh, children, blood is on the square.
大概中午的时候，当有一排坦克车沿着长安大道缓慢行驶的时候，有一个没有武装的年轻男人，手里拿着一个购物袋，突然就站到坦克前。第一辆坦克车为了不压倒他，选择了转向行驶，但是那男的又站到了车前，来来回回好几个回合，直到坦克车停下熄火，那男的爬上了坦克车，和驾驶员交流了一会儿，下来后就被一群不明身份的人带走了。
Blood is on the square.
So, what was South Africa like before apartheid was set up?
In the 1600s, the Dutch colonized South Africa and called themselves Boers or Afrikaners. They were followed by the English in the 1900s because of the discovery of diamonds and abundant resources. After power struggles between them, the Afrikaner National Party won control of the government in 1948 and institutionalized racism through apartheid and later grand apartheid.
What was apartheid?
It was really strict racial segregation. The black South Africans were physically removed from their native land, stripped of their South African citizenship, and forced to become members of an entirely new, underdeveloped community so white people could control and inhabit most of South Africa. The black South Africans were only educated enough to work low-level jobs and were forced to learn the language of the Dutch. It didn't matter the black Africans were the majority of the population in South Africa. They still couldn't rebel against the situation because, not long after, the Afrikaner National Party took control of the government. The Bantu Authorities Act of 1951, Public Safety Act, and criminal laws were enacted which prevented people from rebelling, as it could cause them to be whipped publicly or spend up to 6 months in jail without trial from incarceration.
What were the events that caused the conclusion of apartheid?
Throughout the regime of the White National Party, there was massive resistance in the country, whether it was nonviolent demonstrations, political action, or even armed resistance. The party worked to capture any resistance leaders, one being Nelson Mandela. Mandela was a founder of Spear of the Nation, which was a military wing of the African National Congress. International attention was being drawn to South Africa as the United Nations General Assembly, the UN Security Council, and even other nations attempted to overthrow the National Party through imposing embargoes on the sale of arms and economic sanctions. The party faced intense pressure to repeal acts, which they did, And finally, in 1994, elections led to the formation of a coalition government without the white majority that the National Party consisted of, which marked the end of the South African apartheid.
يا الميدان كنت فين من زمان معاك غنينا ومعاك شقينا وحاربنا خوفنا ودعينا ايد واحدة نهار وليل ومفيش معاك شيء مستحيل صوت الحرية بيجمعنا خلاص حياتنا.
بعد الثورة عانى الشعب في تونس على ارتفاع أسعار المواد الغذائية وارتفاع معدلات البطالة. الناس لم يمكن يدعموا عيالهم.
يا الميدان كنت فين من زمان فديت السور نورت النور لميت حواليك
خطر نفسه وإنه تسبب أعمال الشعب من قبل الشباب العاطلين عن العمل الذين يردون تغيير اقتصاد البلد.
أوقات الصورة ما كانتش واضحة حنصون بلدنا وولاد ولادنا حق اللي راحوا من شبابنا. يا الميدان كنت فين من زمان معك حسينا وابتدينا بعد ما بعدنا وانتهينا لازم بإيدينا نغير نفسينا.